also in commemoration to, I'll just get this out of the way. We're dedicating this concert to the in loving memory of my father, John Fonzie, who passed away over the summer before this school year began. And the kids have all been well briefed, including all the kids over there in the student section. Hi. And all of our other ensembles. They've been aware of this sort of since the school year, and it's been just an amazing experience working with these kids in preparation for this concert, from beginners over here to, of course, those of us that are here on the stage tonight. My father was a huge supporter of this program, and he left his mark in so many ways. And tonight we will be premiering a piece that I actually wrote in memory of him. That's actually what the title of this program is, and you can see it on your program as the final piece. So we'll be talking a bit more about that later. For now, I'd like to introduce the Christa McAuliffe Middle School Advanced Band of 2023-24 to the stage, and we're going to start with a piece called Imperium. So enjoy. So the word Imperium actually stands for absolute power, and so it's a really great concert opener for that reason. It's just very powerful, very energetic. That is one of the tunes, actually. This is a nice moment to inform you that this group is going to be actually the first group representing our school in a festival competition, not this weekend, but next weekend, next Saturday, Review of Champions. And that's one of the pieces we're working up to make sure that we are prepared for our first contest of the year. Now the second piece right here is called African Folk Trilogy, And it's based on folk tunes that, long story short, there was an ethnomusicologist who went out to Africa, to various African villages in various African countries. And they took field recordings of folk tunes. And so many of these are actually very akin to some of the sort of folk tunes that we here in America might learn when we're like really, really young. Like, I don't know, like knick-knack, paddywhack, that kind of thing. But of course, usually many of these songs include dances and there's specific sort of games that are being played with them. So you'll hear 3 different distinct tunes, and we hope that you enjoy. Here's African Folk Trilogy. All right, the third and final tune that we have for you from our advanced band tonight is called The 10th Planet, and this was actually written back when we, like in the news it was just going back and forth. They were saying Pluto was a planet, then Pluto wasn't, then Pluto wasn't, just going back and forth. So I believe at this point in time when the composer wrote this, they had just announced that Pluto was a planet again. So I think that he kind of just decided, you know what, it's a planet, and that's that. And he decided to write a tune about it. It's a really fantastic, energetic piece that starts with a very sort of slow, mysterious beginning, and then from there it kind of builds into sort of this big crescendo of sound to the end. So you'll hear sort of some interstellar chordal things happening toward the end. And so we really hope that you enjoy. This is the 10th Planet. One more time for the advanced band. We'll have a brief transition here as the advanced orchestra gets onto the stage. All right, so while we settle in up here on stage with the Advanced Orchestra, I wanted to say a few quick thank yous and things like that for tonight. First of all, I want to thank all of the student and parent volunteers who came out to help set up tonight. Without you, this literally would not be, we wouldn't have chairs to sit on. So if you do me a favor, and if you're not going to be too shy about it, would you please stand and be recognized for your help tonight? If you are a student who helped or a parent who helped, we give it up to these people. It is my vision that in our program we no longer require students to set up the audience. And really that's only made possible with community volunteerism and with families coming out and helping out when we need them. So thank you so much for answering the call. I also want to give a shout out to my former students. You actually have quite a number of them in the audience tonight. Thank you for being here tonight. Let's give it up for them. And of course to our wonderful booster program who has been there through thick and thin from last year when we kind of got this thing rolling and up to now. They've done an incredible job. We've run some fundraisers. We have something coming down the road pretty soon. We'll have more information for you. But to our boosters who are actually, so many of them looking like they're back there, but some of them are around in the audience. And then I have a special thank you tonight. We have a very important person. I mean, we have a lot of very important people in this audience, but this person in particular I want to take a moment to recognize. So, Mom, could you come on up? Could you come on up? Goes without saying that, quite frankly, none of us, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for this woman right here. Literally, right? But I mean it when I say I've been talking a lot about gratitude with my students, a lot, and how important it is. And we're in that season now. And, we've been through so much together, and through thick and thin, we have each other, and that's never going to change. And I just want to take a moment to thank my mom for everything she's done for me as a person, and just being here tonight and sharing in this beautiful moment. So, thank you, Mom. I love you. Students, I hope you were taking notes. Yeah. All right, I think we're just about ready now to begin our advanced orchestra performance. So we're going to go and tune up and get going. weather's changing, so string instruments get all out of whack whenever the weather's changing, so bear with us for just a moment. We gotta make sure the basses are in tune, and trust me, you want the basses in tune. Now, it's interesting that we've started this part of the set with a tune called Final Expedition. You'd think we'd end with it, but we decided to start with it. Lots of great energy in that piece. This next tune is a suite, actually, the Sky Suite. There's 4 movements, each one, of course, depicting different elements of the sky and nature and things like that. So, first movement is clouds, and you're going to hear these kind of floating, slurred lines starting in the cello, and then it sort of takes off throughout, and you'll hear this sort of ascending sound, almost as if the clouds are ascending and then they evaporate at the end of the movement. Then you'll hear rain, where you'll hear us playing pizzicato, meaning without the bow, and it's just creating the sound of raindrops. And then in the third movement, thunder, you'll hear some really interesting things called tremolo from our violinist, and some pretty thunderous, dynamic stuff happening in the bass and in the cello. And then, of course, the final movement is called Sun, which kind of wraps it all together in a nice little bow. So we hope that you enjoy. And then we ask that we please hold our applause, if we can, until the end of the entire work. Thank you so much, and enjoy Sky Suite. break here, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. right, as we get set up again, I just want to take a moment to just address what happened. And I just want to say that I know that I just had a talk with our orchestra students about whether or not they wanted to go on, after seeing what just happened. And, we all kind of made an agreement that the rest of this set, we're there for that family. And we want to make some music for them, and we want to make sure that, so this one, I know that they're not here, of course, because they're dealing with something that I'm sure we can't even imagine right now. But nonetheless, the rest of this set, it goes out to my father and to the Edmund family. So we're going to go ahead and be there for them to make this music for them. Okay, we just took a quick vote to see whether or not we want to do this next tune, and we decided that we want to lift the mood a little bit and keep this show on the road, so we're going to move on. This is a kind of a silly tune that hopefully will help us to get into a little more of a lighter mood. It's called Ladybug on a Carousel. And fun fact about this one is officially out of print, so you're going to be hearing what could be one of the final performances of this tune, which is ironic considering that you're going to hear the very first performance ever of 24 in just a moment. So here's Ladybug on a Carousel, and heart goes out to the Edmund family. This is for you. There are many, many, many things that I could say about this piece. I'll begin with this, saying that these students on this stage have absolutely, I'll say it, they've changed my life. They've changed my life. They have inspired me, they have motivated me, they have pushed me to be the best possible director and conductor I could be. They have shown what it really means to just be a member of humanity. And these rehearsals for this have been so incredible, incredibly passionate, incredibly intense. And from the very first day that I said that I had this piece, and I was thinking about potentially like finding an orchestra to premiere it, they were so quick to just say, absolutely, no questions asked. And we will do anything we can to make sure that this moment is a moment that will live forever in our memories and our hearts. And so these kids just blow my mind. I want to take a moment actually to give it up to them just for how incredible they've been through this whole process. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the piece now. 24 it originally was written as sort of an analogy of sorts. 24-hour day cycle, and so there's actually 4 parts in this piece. Part 1 is sunrise, and that's symbolizing birth, the beginning of life. How we all kind of emerge into this world in that beautiful moment when a mother sees their child for the first time. That moment that is shared is represented musically throughout this. And then after that, we go to a part 2, which is called daylight. And daylight represents sort of like childhood. And you'll hear sort of this playfulness that comes out in the background, in the pizzicato background, and this beautiful melody that's sort of representative of growing up as a child and playing on a playground and you know, skinning your knee every so often, all this kind of stuff. Just what it's like to grow up as a kid. And then there's a moment in daylight where you'll hear the violas take over the melody, and suddenly we have this darker, gloomier thing, and I've kind of made many jokes about how that represents puberty. And it's a short moment in the music where everything suddenly sounds really angsty. And so you'll hear that angst come out for a brief moment. But then after that, you'll hear that angst sort of make way for early adulthood and what that represents, and sort of the glory and grace of discovering who you are through that process. And then from there, I just don't want to misspeak on my own piece. Part 3 is called Sunset, and that's sort of a moment of realizing that the days are going by and it's time to kind of consider the idea that while we never want it to end, it's going to. And we have to accept that and make the most of every moment that we have and live this life with love in our hearts. And this is that moment of realization in the part 3 Sunset. And this is a little bit how it connects a little bit more to my father. The wind chimes over here, the Joel, would you them? They're over here next to Joel. Those are actually specifically wind chimes that are dedicated to my father. They say in loving memory of John Fonzie on them. And we specifically want to use this, not just to represent sort of his spirit and his energy, but also because it just creates this moment in the music where you'll hear everything become still and calm. And he lived like the last 10 or so years of his life out in sort of in nature. We have this place out in nature, and it kind of represents that, his spirit through sunset. The 4th part is called Nightfall. And Nightfall is that moment where, it's that moment of reckoning, where he finally, this is a moment where we can finally look back and celebrate a person who lived, who loved, who laughed. And if you knew my father, man, he had a laugh. He had a big laugh that would fill up the room, a big heart that you felt when he walked into a room, because you could feel the warmth, you could feel the love and the kindness radiating out of him. And that's kind of what Nightfall is representing. There's a moment where the music builds from one voice to the next, and then finally there's this climactic moment where we celebrate this man who, well, taught me how to be a man, you know? And so, last but not least, you'll hear the resurgence of the daylight theme at the very end, and there's this beautiful little chord progression, and the very last sound that you will hear is wind chimes. So this is actually extremely important. If we could just, because there are moments in this where it's going to sound like it's over, and it's not. So if we could just hold all applause until you see me step down off of the podium, I would really appreciate it. That is when the piece is officially over. And now, last but not least, before we perform this for you, I just want to take a moment to just sort of collectively have a moment of silence. Because I know that I'm not the only one who has lost someone. And I know that this is a very common experience. And I know that sometimes we just need a moment to remember. And tonight, I wanted to commemorate. I did what I think any son in my position could do, which is to make sure that my dad lives forever through the music that I've written. I want everyone to take a moment of silence now and think upon somebody in your life that has given you that love and that warmth and that kindness that's meant that much to you. May their memory bring you comfort and joy and inspiration and hope. And may this piece do the same. Well, let me tell you one thing. Tonight, I'm going to spend some time with my mom. That's what I'm going to do. And tonight, I hope that you take that time to let someone know that you love them. Give them that hug. Give them that little kiss on the cheek. Whatever it is, right? Because at the end of the day, music is about community, and it's about family. And it's about making a difference and making an impact and making a connection. So I hope tonight that you experienced something that made you realize just how special it is to be alive and to get to share these experiences together. So I hope that you take that moment tonight, and I hope that you make sure to, all I can say is I couldn't be more proud of these kids right here. Can we give it up one more time for this? So, that's our program tonight. Thank you so much for... Seriously, one of these is supposed to be for you, but I kind of already did that, so yeah, sorry. All right. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope that this inspired you and moved you in some way. Please drive safe. Let someone know you love them, and have a great night.
Hello. Hi. You did so good. I guess I should turn this off now.